I've spent literal months on this location when you tally up all the location days. I've spent more time on this location than I spent learning typing in high school, and typing's the most important thing I learned in high school. And so it's fitting that our last explosion, our last experiment here should be Jamie's choice to do work with explosives instead of just destructing.
And to do just that,
time to level out our work area.
Jamie's starting with some pre-proof of concept preparation.
Look at him, a man in his element.
He's building a kind of car sandwich. A steel plate as the base, then his small-scale car, then more steel on top. But what's the next ingredient?
This is next. It's called data sheet. It's a high explosive in sheet form. We put this on top of our steel plate. Okay, that ought to work. And it goes kaboom.
Yep, by adding a 4 mil layer of data sheet, Jamie's hoping to force the upper steel plate down to completely crush his scale car.
Fire in the hole! Fire in the hole! Fire in the hole! There we go.
Okay, single layer of data sheet in 3, 2, 1. Yeah. That's aggressive.
That's got a real ring to it. I felt the walls of this thing vibrate.
Yeah, let's go check it out.
All right.
The data sheet sure packed a punch. But has it created a small-scale crush?
That looks like a positive result there, Mr. Heineman.
That's like one of the wheels right there.
Yeah.
And
There's the engine.
the engine.
Did you expect such a spectacular result on the first try?
No, actually. I'm actually a little speechless.
At a little under an inch thick, the car's been crushed to 1/5 its original size. So, is it already time to go full scale?
Jamie came here with a goal to flatten a car. And for my money, it looks like he achieved it on the very first try. But he's here at the bomb range, and he's got a bunch of analogs. My guess is, I don't know, maybe he's going to start stacking them and trying to see optimal relationships between weight and explosives. Or maybe we're all just going to go home. I'm actually not sure at this point.
Oh, we're not going home, I can tell you that much.
Oh, come on!
This was a lovely first attempt, but when we scale this up to a full-size car, it's going to be a lot bigger of an experiment, a lot more time and difficulty. So I want to learn everything I can about the dynamics of what happened here before we go there.
In other words, small scale's not over yet.
Whoa! I don't think they've landed yet.
But first, it's time for Adam's destructive denouement.
It's a nice little bit of symmetry in this episode. In your half, you're trying to make a car as low to the ground as possible, and in my half...
You're trying to lift a car up as high as possible.
Exactly.
With a vacuum.
Yes. Now, I figure that the trick to this is to make the mother of all attachments, to increase the surface area of the vacuum cleaner's input so that the amount of suction I create exceeds the weight of the car, and thus I can get it off the ground.
So what you're trying to say is that as far as the attachment goes, size matters.
Indeed it does.
Throughout Mythbusters history,
Fire in the hole!
vacuum cleaners have been blown up, turned into jet engines,
Didn't really jet across the room.
and had the chance to bite back.
I got bit!
You guys stop bleeding.
But can a single vacuum really have enough suck to lift a car? To find out if this impossible-sounding tall tale can be true, the guys are starting small, with a standard vacuum and hose trying to lift a 5-pound weight. Which, eventually, it does.
Okay, so that's just barely enough to hold on to that 5 pounds.
It is.
We've just shown that this common vacuum cleaner is able to lift a 5-pound